o'clock, I believe, Dr. Boggs and Tracy were even going to sit in on and be able to learn more about them. And if anyone else would like a link to those Zoom calls, I could have one sent to you also.
Was there any possibility that our RESD, someone would be able to write, because it's not a real involved program, is it?
Well, no, it really isn't in my mind. I don't know if that's something that they would be wanting to do. The one we had been using for years was something that one of the RESD employees or our IT team had made up years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but eventually, and they kept it going as long as they could, eventually it crashed, and that's why they were kind of forced into the change. So I haven't had that discussion with them as to whether that's something they think they could come up with or would like to do at minimal, possibly not at minimal cost. So that might be another option for us to inquire and look into. So
I feel like they're,
sure.
better at that stuff than we are, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But other than that, I don't have anything new to report on.
Anything for Julie?
I don't.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that leads us right into our agenda items. I would entertain a motion to approve the L4029 form as presented to establish the 2025 summer tax millage rates and authorize the chairman and clerk to execute that document.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion?
Very briefly, so if you look, we did have a Headley rollback this year. Our original operating millage was 5.555 mils, and due to Headley has been reduced to 5.3597, which was 5.3840 last year. So it's gone down a little bit, a loss of 0.0243. When what that translates to is, even though that the price of property tax continues to go up, as value continues to go up, the amount that you can levy has gone down. So even though things have gone up, we will levy about an additional $136,395 of additional new revenue this year.
And hasn't that millage rate essentially been the same?
It's been relatively flat for a long time.
I feel like since I was in high school, maybe.
5.5 has been the county operating millage forever.
Yeah. All right, any further discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and we'll see that again on Wednesday. I would look for a motion to approve the purchase of a new lawnmower from Alderman's not to exceed $11,279.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. I saw Tim back in the corner.
Yeah, we're looking to get another lawnmower. One that we have kind of just blew up and it's done. But most of our lawnmowers are getting to the age that they're fairly old. And there's another one probably next year we'll probably be looking at probably get rid of, because it's getting to the point where we're putting more money into them than it's worth. And at that point, it's just not worth keeping. It's almost cheaper than something, I think, now to go out and buy another lawnmower than to even attempt to keep trying to repair every other week or whatever it's going to,
Right.
So this is a budgeted item, something that we had planned on over the summer.
Yeah. Actually, we were going to buy another one last year, but we ended up just buying one. And then this year we're getting another one. And then next year, hopefully, maybe we'll be able to get one more.
How long do they last?
Well, the big John Deere, it will last considerably longer. But, I don't really know what. We really haven't purchased any lawnmowers in 9 years. I've been here except for at the very beginning. Last year was the first time that we actually went out and bought another lawnmower in probably 9 years.
Well, it sounds like it lasts a while then.
Well, and with the parks, I think we're using them just nonstop.
Daily, so I mean, right now, they're really getting worked out. Because while grass is growing like crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Better than snow, right?
yeah.
All right, and
Madam Chair, if I can interrupt, I
Yes.
don't know if there's anything to be done about this. Apparently, our sound is not working on our YouTube.
Not at the moment.
Okay. I didn't know if it was a simple setting or something.
No, it crashed.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I would defer to Morgan on that.
Got it.
All right, anything else on the lawnmower purchase? All right, all those in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and that moves forward. I would look for a motion to approve resolution number 250505, assigning and delegating enforcement to Hazelton and Venice townships.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported.
So, as you know, in May of 2021, Hazelton took back their own planning and zoning, which ended in March. Venice did the same. So planning and zoning is statutorily a responsibility of the townships, not the county. And when they don't do it, it falls to us by default. Not because that's what we choose to do, but because that is the default setting if the township opts not to do it. So the townships, those two townships both took back their planning and zoning. And Eric and Pete and myself agree they have all the authority to do what they need to do for enforcement. However, their attorneys, who also work with us on some other matters, would like this resolution passed as belt and suspenders to give them authority to implement and regulate zoning issues related to the solar farms.
Is there any compensation for those duties?
No, this is just simply making sure that they have a piece of paper that says that they have the ability to enforce things that may have been approved while zoning was under the county.
Oh, okay,
They're
got
doing
it.
it,
So
not us.
They're gonna be taking care of it, they've already been taking care of it, but they wanna make sure that they have this, just to be sure that there's no question that it's basically a handoff of all the old things that were happening at the time of the
okay, so just
Transition.
kind of some housekeeping.
Yes.
We feel they already have the authority, but their attorneys would like this resolution passed saying that they have the authority. It has no bearing on us outside of that.
So going back to the default in zoning, are we required to pick that up?
No,
Like,
it'd be
is
an
that-
unzoned community if we decide not to do it.
So that would be an option, and I'm not advocating for that option, but it would be, correct?
It would be an option if you pass on that responsibility.
I would like to pass on the cost and the headache,
So that,
but. All right, anything else on that resolution? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and again, we'll see that on Wednesday. Our final agenda item, which I think has filled up the room, I would look for a motion to accept the sheriff's recommendation and authorize the sheriff, county administrator, and corporate counsel to enter into contract with negotiations with the selected company.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported.
so very briefly before I introduce the sheriff to explain his choices, the sheriff has conducted an RFP to go with a sole provider of services related to Shiawassee County non-preference tows and impounds. So right now, the state police has their own preference system. The cities already have their own preference system. This impacts the ones that would be engaged with the Shiawassee County Road Patrol for individuals who do not have a preference. And the sheriff gets to make the determination of who he selects. Now, the contract has to be approved by the Board of Commissioners because only the Board of Commissioners can enter into a contract agreement for services. So with that, I will introduce Sheriff Chapman and Under Sheriff Corey Carson to discuss the proposal with you.
Thank you, gentlemen, and
Hi,
I would
everyone.
say that I certainly appreciate your many years in our sheriff's department, your expertise out there on the road,
And I thank you. Yeah, this is a very delicate situation. However, in all the years I've been doing this, every sheriff I ever worked for had problems with the record rotation as it exists. So for the sheriff's office, I considered issuing a request proposal, RFP, for towing services. Currently, deputies and dispatchers spend unnecessary hours managing towing-related matters. Implementing the RFP process will streamline services related to impound vehicles, abandoned vehicles, and vehicles involved in criminal investigations that require secure storage. Additionally, an RFP ensures that the citizens of Shiawassee County are treated fairly and consistently. 3 companies submitted proposals in response to the RFP. They are All-Star Towing, Browns in Duran, and Gaffner's. Each proposal was strongly reviewed to determine which company would best serve the needs of the Sheriff's Office and the residents of Shiawassee County. After careful consideration, I believe All-Star Towing is best suited to accommodate the operational needs of the Sheriff's Office and provide fair, efficient service to the people of Shiawassee County. Therefore, I request you to approve the agenda request as submitted.
All right, I did have one question for you, Sheriff. I have a copy of a letter that was sent to you by a commissioner that states that the tow operators are confused. It references a couple of them. And I guess my concern, and this might be a question for Eric, has there been some undue negotiations in this process? I'm a little uncomfortable with this letter.
There's been nothing of my knowledge, no.
Okay, so I don't want one, and I'm talking to you, one commissioner going around soliciting comments that you aren't sanctioning.
I haven't even received a phone call from anyone
Okay.
about this.
Okay, fair enough. And I certainly would welcome questions from committee.
Is the committee the only one that can talk about it then?
Nope.
Oh.
Did you have a question, Gary?
Yeah, I guess it all come to me quick and I didn't know anything about it. I just think it'd be better to rotate it, but that's just my opinion, so. And I can't vote on it today, so.
And
I'm just sitting here just seeing what's going on, so.
no, and I see
It's a
that
good old boy
side.
system and I realize it, so I've been around for a long time, so.
Right, and I guess I see your point, Gary, well taken, but I've never been a sheriff's deputy. I've never been out there on the road. I don't have the experience that these guys sitting in front of us do, and I'm certainly going to respect your experience and your
Well,
recommendation.
also, if I may, I love every record driver in this county. One of them is a very personal friend of mine. We are not going to stop. Anytime the deputies have a victim of a crash, first question is going to be, are you okay? The second question is going to be, who's your choice in a wrecker? If they recommend Joe's or they recommend Brown's or whoever, dispatch is still going to contact these people and say, hey, we have a wrecker call for you. The only time we would use these services if they are non-preference or it's a criminal case where the car's got to be, impounded for evidence. But I think to sum it up the best, for years, we are the ones that have to take calls all the time. I field phone calls, Corey does, my lieutenants. Hey, I was overcharged for this record. What are you going to do about it? I can't do nothing about that. My job is not to manage record companies.
Right.
My job is to enforce the laws of the state and to make sure our people, our emergency response team is safe on the freeway. And going a little bit further, just so you know, I-69, we call it the slab. It's a death trap.
Oh,
It's a death trap. in every moment you're on that freeway, you're risking your safety, okay? A lot of times these calls, they all go to dispatch. You call one company, they don't want to respond or they don't answer the phone because it's a winter storm. I can't blame them. They call another company, they don't answer their phone. Now, at the same time, 911 is answering hundreds of phone calls when you got a crash on the freeway. And then if they do something wrong or they send the wrong record, they have to take the brunt of that by the company owners. And that's unacceptable. We don't have time for that. My number one priority is the people of this county and the safety of all first responders, not just the deputies, but ERs, fire departments, everyone. That's my responsibility, so.
But the key that you said was, it's still, you will take into consideration who the victim and who they would like to tow their vehicle.
Absolutely.
And if that happens to be XYZ towing, then that's who you're calling.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a preference, then it ends up being this
The
all-star.
contract,
Whatever we call
whoever
it.
the contract is.
Yep.
Yeah, I had that happen last October when my son had a very serious car accident and actually requested someone, a tow company sitting in this room, and they charged me $400 to haul it 7 miles.
And we get those phone calls, and it's, with a contract, we know what it's gonna be. And then we will have some input. If it's more than that, then we have something we can work with, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust your experience and expertise on it. I'm not an expert in this area. I trust you.
We
guys.
put a great deal of time in it,
I'm sure
thought
you
in
have.
it. I'm just doing what I think's best for all the employees and the county. That's it.
According to our record management system, 240 vehicles, that's about how many vehicles we impounded last year. So we're not talking about a ton of vehicles.
So not even one a day.
No.
Okay.
Any, Brad, did you have anything? Or?
Yeah, my only question was, can we see the results of the RFP of the scores? Just by what, is that?
I don't know what all.
Right, maybe it isn't there yet.
I don't know.
If it's not, yes,
Okay, perfect.
you definitely can.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I will say there's probably not two guys I trust more than people sitting right here in front of me, so
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Do I have any input? Since I think it could be appointed with me.
No.
No.
All those in favor
Sorry,
of
guys.
moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. And we'll see that again on Wednesday for a final vote, which brings us to our last call to the public, and I know there were some slips out there.
You guys already went through it, so why would we speak now?
Well, this is a committee meeting, sir.
Yeah, there's 7
The
people
final
gotta
vote will
vote.
be
Just
on
3 people
Wednesday.
voted today, there's 7 to vote, so. But it'll probably still be a done deal, so.
Well,
I'd get up and speak if you want.
You are not a member of the public, Commissioner Shepherd, so is there any public comment? All right,
I'll speak real quick.
all right, do you have a slip? You can do it afterwards, or,
So my name is Todd Mihai. I grew up in Corona, and I moved away for about 20 years as a police officer, firefighter, EMT. I moved back to the area to take care of my father, and I was real close friends with the King family, Max King and Son Auto Service. And I was doing towing for them for several years, and then their building burned down in 2009, and they decided not to open back up. They were in business for 37 years. So that was 15 years ago, and since then I've been running a towing business, and I think I run probably a very reputable, honest towing business. And I've seen over the last 15 years preference being shown to All-Star Towing that has just been sickening.
I hear rumors of payoffs, I hear all kinds of rumors. They've been able to acquire a great deal of money by getting these extra tows, extra impounds through the police. They've been able to acquire much more equipment than any other towing company in this county because of that. And it's been unfair. We've been complaining about it for years. And now it's finally come down to the point to where they put this out to where we have to put bids in, and if we don't have the equipment listed on the list that All Star Towing incidentally has, then we're not gonna even be considered for the towing rotation. And I think it's wrong. Like I said, we've got plenty of businesses around here that are in need of having those tows just as much as anybody else. And the fact that we're basically creating a monopoly in this county for towing businesses because of this. They claim that they've only got 200 and some impounds over the last year, but the problem is that the accident calls are where the money's at because the insurance companies pay out the money for accident calls. So basically, anytime there's an accident, if there's not somebody that's conscious or something like that, it's gonna go to All Star Towing. We're not even gonna be considered for it. And it's just wrong. It's finally come to a head. I mean, it's been bad for quite a while. And, I've got friends in the towing business over here that feel the same way, and we just don't know what to do anymore. So, just really disappointed in my county, I guess.
All right, thank you. Was there any, Joe, right?
Yep. You need me to fill out a slip?
Please.
I wasn't gonna speak, and honestly, I already knew how this was gonna go, as most of us did. The only thing I can really say is, I've been in business here for almost 33 years. And there's been some record problems through the years, but not like there has been since All Star became a record service. All of a sudden, we hear we're not answering our calls, we're not showing up, all kinds of things that never happened in, I don't know how long he's been in business, 10, 12 years. Never happened for 20 years. Every one of us that filled this out knew exactly how this was gonna go. We honestly did. We were just here. Actually, when he said he had a really good friend, he's talking about me. And he had a really good friend was a good way to put it. He had a really good friend. I mean, I'm like flabbergasted because it's like everything worked. You've got all these record services. You've got Jimmy that's been in here for 30 some years. Everything worked fine, and then all of a sudden it's not working anymore. And why? Because All Star, like he said, All Star's getting the calls, All Star's getting the wrecks. They sat here and said, well, there's only 240 impounds, but they didn't tell you how many accidents there are. And we left that out. That's convenient. Because truthfully, that is where the money is. Every one of us hates impounds. Because when people come to get their car, they're pissed at you. Not that they didn't get their license or they didn't get their plate. It's always somebody else's fault. It's not even the cop that impounded it. It's the jerk that towed his car. So impounds are a nightmare to start with. So the money's in wrecks. So to say there's 240 impounds is a joke. That's not where the money is. But like I said, most of us here knew how this was going to go. I'm curious to see the scores, how it was scored. I'd like to see it. So, I mean, we'll be requesting it. If we scored higher, there may be a problem. I'm just letting you know. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Jim Brown. I own Brown Towing in Durand. Been there 48 years. And the towing business is a little different than other businesses. Like if you want to buy a restaurant, you spend $300,000 on your restaurant, smooth sailing. Towing company, the trucks are average about $150,000 a piece. So if you have two, you got $300,000 worth of iron sitting out there. You have to have $3 million worth of insurance. You have to have a medical card and drug consortium so that you're drug tested, and you jump through all the hoops and you do everything right. And to just go to this system, I mean, I can tell you, if you don't, with the population that we have in this county, if you don't tow accidents, you're not going to be in the towing business. I mean, they might hang on for 3 or 4 years, who knows? Next time you go to revisit this in 4 years, and then I guess there's another 4 years that you're, you know, you go change a tire or you go do a jump start, that's not paying those big truck payments you got out sitting in your garage. So we're just all going to have to sell stuff off and I guess do something else. I don't know. But I didn't know if you knew, maybe didn't know that that's how it's going to affect, you know, 3 or 4 businesses in your county. People have been here a long time, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Can I say something? I don't have a card in it.
Go ahead, you can fill it out when you're done.
My name is Trisha Gaffner. I'm the wife of Dean Gaffner and Gaffner Towing, and I don't participate in the towing part of it. However, I can testify that I have never seen him miss a call, including in the middle of the night, and I can guarantee you I wake up for those two. So I know that that is something that is covered it's very important for both he and his employees to cover that part of the expectations. I also want to point out that all of them sitting here are small businesses, and like Mr. Brown said, it's a large indent in your pocketbook to invest that much into the equipment. And if you were to pull the records and actually look at the scoring, which was, by the way, nobody ever provided how it was going to be scored, who the selection committee was going to be, and I think those are important things to share with the people that are being impacted by this. So I would encourage you to simply pull records, pull calls, missed calls, and use that in evaluating the RFP itself. If you are the final decision makers, I think that there should be a type of scoring method to it, with all of that encompassed in your decision making.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speak. I am Chandler Buck, work for Dean Gaffner. Been there since the beginning. I actually started working for Joe when I was first out of high school. For them to come in and say that everybody down answers the phone and all that, there is occasional missed calls. We had a call 2 Saturdays ago. I was up in the north part of the county where we never get calls. And I said, oh, it's going to be an extended ETA. They said, that's fine, nobody else is answering the phone. I'm not singling out anybody here, but to say that, they pretty much said that all of us in this room miss calls and don't answer them, but the other company doesn't. That's a lie. I emailed Corey Carson to see how this was going to be let out. There was not much insight on it. He never replied to my email. It's going to hurt a lot of businesses. I mean, we all depend on it. Paychecks depend on it. And I just hope your guys' choice is made considerably, even if it's not the same as the sheriff's recommendation. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. All right, is there any other public comment? One thing, Dr. Boggs, if we could clarify by Wednesday, I think Corey might have misspoke on that 240. I think that 240 might encompass all non-preference.
We will find out.
Yeah, that's, I don't think that was just impounds.
We'll find out what it was.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That brings us to our first call to the public for the Econ and Physical Development Committee meeting. All right, hearing none, we'll move down to Community Development Report with Mr. Pete Preston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have 19 zoning permits, 19 building permits. We're relatively slow for, in comparison to previous years, where we'd typically be in the 20 or 30s for the building permits. So keeping an eye on that. And as far as code enforcement, it says 16, but our reports are kind of spitting out garbage again, and so we're going to work on that and see what the problem is. Depends on the user in the office who's generating the report. But again, we're just kind of slow, and I can't read the tea leaves to know what's going to happen next. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to address.
All right, seeing no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that moves us to our agenda items. I'll look for a motion to approve the rehabilitation mortgage discharge for Lois Ann Beebe of 508 East Main Street, Owasso, Michigan.
So moved.
I'll support that. Discussion.
It's one of our mortgage discharges that we have from 2001, and they have completed their payments.
Perfect. All right. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of moving that to Wednesday, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, we'll see that Wednesday. Next, I would look for a motion to approve the remonumentation peer review group members and the remonumentation contracts as recommended by the surveyor. I'll support. Discussion.
So every year the surveyor has to bring you a list of peer reviewers, and they review what he has remonumented to make sure that there are no errors in the overall remonumentation program. This is covered by the grant from the state.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of moving that to Wednesday, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, we will move that to Wednesday. And that brings us to our final topic, the airport presentation.
Hello, everyone. Rick Musson, Shiawassee Airport Board. I'd like to just take a few minutes and review where our airport's at today. We are a general aviation airport, public use. We have recently been raised from a local use airport to a regional airport by the FAA. On this page, we'll provide additional funding for projects. As we move forward, it'll give us a few more rules to follow, obviously, to make us a better airport. On the front page of the handout you should have is the five municipalities that operate our airport through a multi-unit agreement was created in 1997. Each of the 5 municipalities has a member on the Shiawassee Airport Board. Top of the second page is our current 5-year plan showing how state, federal, and local funds are used. Our matching funds are considered local funds on the end. We are currently working in the 2024 development year to replace and relocate the PAPI, the Precision Approach Path Indicator System used for night low visibility conditions by pilots. This system is currently at 3.5 degrees. It will be set to 3 degrees when it's relocated on the field. This is preferred by business jet and turbine aircraft, so we get more people in our airport. Also included in the 2024 development year is replacing runway and taxiway signage to help aircraft move from the runways to the ramp and back safely. These projects hope to be completed later this year. I just talked to Engineer Dade. He says he's looking at a June 1st start on that project. 2025 projects include the apron crack ceiling and a fuel farm design and the required FAA flight check for the new PAPI system. We can install a system, but we can't actually use it until they do a flight check and approve its use. 2026 projects are to construct the upgraded fuel farm, pavement marking, and taxiway crack ceiling to maintain the airport. 2027 is required. There's a design required for runway 1129 rehabilitation and changes of the taxiway that are scheduled in 2028. 2028 will be the taxiway and runway rehabilitation and construction project to actually do the work. Table 2 shows the airports within the National Plan of Integrated Airport Systems. We are included in the regional numbers of that system now. Shows that there are, I believe, 20,000 airports. We are part of the 3,287 that are a member of that. I think that at that point, on the top page, it shows, or the next page, it shows the actual 20,031 airports and 3287. So I will try to keep this brief and turn the meeting over to Julie McKay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Julie McKay. First of all, I want to thank you for appointing me for the airport board. My heart is out there, so I love it. But the bottom of page 3, it says that there's a report put out by the National Association of State Aviation Officials, American Association of State and Highway Transportation Officials found that for every dollar invested in general aviation airports, $75 is returned on average by companies utilizing them. And there were 5 different areas that they said that areas benefited. The first one was training opportunities. The second was agricultural use. The third one was investments. The fourth was track aviation-related businesses. And the fifth was community support. And I added another one of emergency services. And I'll explain that a little bit later. On the next page, the training opportunities. We have a group out there. It's called Wins Air. They have about 65 members right now. It provides, it's a flying club that offers airplane rental, ground school for aspiring pilots, access to flight instruction, advancement to larger, more complex aircraft. It's a way that the common person really can afford an airplane. They buy a membership. They apply to membership as a very nominal fee. They don't have to worry about upgrades. You know, they can be pretty expensive, that kind of stuff. They have members that come from Howell, Fenton, Otisville, Lansing, West Bloomfield, Williamston, Freeland, and from the UP. So it's really widespread. The bottom one is agriculture. I don't know if you've seen these yellow airplanes. The kids really like these from the movie Planes. But anyway, they do aerial application. They service local growers with over 30,000 annual corn and bean acres sprayed. And they figure that the economic impact from them alone this year will be $5 million. It's a big corporation. They have, I think, 4 or 5 airplanes out there. The next one is local corporate air travel. When business industry wants to come in, they want a place that's easy accessible. So we have people like Georgia Pacific, Loom, Memorial Hospital, Dollar General, Meyer Stores, Owasso Speedway, and Sunoco all utilize the airport for their local stores and stuff. The next one is aviation-related business. They do aircraft sales and aircraft management there. The next one is, it's one of my favorites, is Huron Avionics. They moved here actually from the pier because they like the situation here better. They're award-winning Garmin aviation dealer. They do all their electronics and the airplanes. And they go pulling people from South Carolina, Illinois, Indiana, and even from Massachusetts. And the bottom one is Jolie's Cafe. I don't know how many have been out there. Got a few hands. Okay, good. They were the Olive Burger winner a couple years ago when they had the big contest in Lansing, but they pull in a lot of people to a lot of airplanes. Next one we have is community support. There's a Young Eagles. It's going to be the 31st now. They had to cancel it because of the weather Saturday, where they have ages 8 to 17. People can come in. The kids can fly. The bottom left-hand one, we have the South Carolina Relief. They did a big gathering there, and they sent all that stuff down there. The middle one is Science Lesson Takes Flight. They have local kids that come out from the schools. Tomorrow there's going to be a group out there. The bottom right one, they have the Easter candy drop. They did that recently. They did the Pack-a-Plane, where they pack the airplanes for toys and stuff. And they have local fundraisers. Okay, the bottom one's emergency flights, the Wings of Mercy. They fly patients to healthcare. I had a co-worker whose daughter was very fragile with her health, and she couldn't fly commercially, and to drive there was too much for her to get to Mayo Clinic. And volunteers come in, and Gary will talk a little bit about that. They will fly people there where they need their help. And then the Air National Guard does practice there. We have 2 seaplanes that will fly actually from New York to Minnesota, and they always stop in Owasso. They like the Olive Burgers and the price of gas there. In the back page, we have the Sky is the Limit. The Michigan 99s had their 90th anniversary there. That's a women's group that's been in existence for 90 years. And then by the top right, Macy Bogle flew the airplane there before one of the games. And Owasso has had people that advanced to college aviation programs, flight instructors, corporate pilots, airline pilots, test pilots, FAA careers, MDOT employees, and we also have one now that's doing the oil runs in Texas. And then the bottom one is one that we've had to struggle with a little bit, but the last inspection we had over 3,900 obstructions, which are tree limbs that were in the airspace that were not safe for people to fly in. And so we started working on that about 3 years ago. We began the process of removal, and we have to understand that we had homeowners we had to deal with, businesses, water treatment plant, apartments, wetlands, Riverwalk, and we also had the cemetery. Now nobody complained there when we went in for that one. With the success, we were asked to present, because we were very successful with that, we were asked to present at the MAAE, it's a Michigan Association of Airport Executives convention they had in Lansing. And also they had the Transportation Research Board through the Airport Cooperative Research Program. We were on a panel for that, and they asked us questions about that. And I'm happy to say that out of 3,900 instructions we had to deal with to begin with, we have 5 left. So, any questions or anything? Or okay, I think just a few minutes for Gary to come in and talk. He's the airport manager.
Hi, my name is Gary Chappis. I'm the airport manager out to the Owasso Community Airport. I'd like to give you a little bit of information about economic benefits. Our airport is, we have one paved runway, 4,300 feet long, 75 foot wide, with parallel taxiways and apron. We did about approximately 23,000 operations last year. That's what we're rated at. An operation would be anything from a takeoff, landing, or a flyby. We sell aviation fuel at the airport. Last year we sold over 32,000 gallons of aviation fuel. We also have about 63 airplanes based at the Wausau Community Airport. And we have about 33 land leases with private businesses and private owners. And I'd like to say a little bit about the type of jobs we have. The aerial applicators, there's 5 total jobs, 2 full-time, 3 seasonal. For aircraft maintenance, there's 9 total jobs. Huron Avionics has 3 full-time, 3 part-time. And Huron Avionics is about to embark on a major expansion where they're more than double the size of the operation they have coming. RNP Aviation has 2 part-time. Randolph Aviation has 1 part-time, so that's a total of 9. Employees at the airport, we have 2. The airport manager, me, and Doug Haskins, he's the maintenance person at the airport. Wynn's Air Flying Club has 7 flight instructors. Jolie's Cafe has 5 full-time employees and 9 part-time, total of 14 employees. And with the 5 board members, there's a total of 42 people that are either working or contributing in somehow to the operation of the airport, which includes commercial operations and everything else. And that's about it for today. And I do have some information about the Wings of Mercy. Wings of Mercy is a organization that provides free air transportation for patients. The most typical operation we have at Owasso is taking people from Owasso to the Mayo Clinic. A little thing like Michigan is in the way, so it's about a 12 to 15-hour drive. An airplane can do it in about 2 hours. All the airplanes, like I say, they're volunteers. The patient costs nothing, and they're also allowed to have a support person with them. And I don't know. I have some brochures here that I'd like to give out, and we'd like to say thank you for the support you've given us over the years, and we thank you for this opportunity to talk with you.
If you want to give them to the clerk, she'll pass them.
Okay. If anybody knows anybody that needs free transportation, air transportation, they're all volunteers. We always fly twin-engine aircraft, and they always fly with 2 pilots on board.
Okay.
Also, I have a couple of airspace drawings that you guys can file with your master plan or any other county documents. So I'll lay these on the table. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in. Great presentation. Yeah. Questions?
As an A&P mechanic, I'm hearing lots of good stuff about Doug. He's got a top-notch maintenance facility.
That's good. Yeah, we have two grass runways, so that keeps us busy.
Perfect. All right. Any other comments? Questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. That brings us to our last call to the public. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
We'll get to go over